That lady hated you for
She
like
did. She hates me so much.
for like Excellent. So we are on Colin's Conversations. I'll let you introduce yourself, let everybody know who you are, where you're from, and what it is that you do.
Hello, I'm from Indiana. My name's Ashley Greathouse, and I write scary stories. At least I like to pretend they're scary.
I was just reading you only have one bad review on like the entire internet, which is amazing for as much stuff as you put out to only have one bad thing like on the entire internet to find. And the irony of the lady being Karen is great.
Yeah. Oh yeah, she went for me, like for my neck, definitely, and then she just didn't let go.
That lady hated you for
She
like
did. She hates me so much.
for like the dollar at most that she spent on the ebook that she didn't like, and it was hilarious. I,
Oh yeah.
I went through her thing, trying to hoping I could find like a couple other like ridiculous things that she had, and you were like the only author that she just hates. Everybody else is either great or mediocre.
Yeah, she attacked me. But again, like, is she wrong? I don't know.
So, what got the writing started for you? How long has it been going? Has it? I know you've always been into the paranormal, but how long have you been writing it down for that people that don't know?
I've written. I hate, I hate words, but I love to write. Isn't that weird? No, for a long time, ever, honestly. But as far as taking it seriously and really trying to put out actual stories for other people to read, I'm almost 2 years into it. So I think I'm like 7 months away for my 2 year anniversary of being an official author. So that's
And
pretty cool.
anybody nowadays could be an official author. What was it like
Yeah.
kind of going through the self-publishing, and like what was there a certain day where you're like, you know what, I'm going to go sign up for KDP and I'm going to put this out there?
I I was actually I was in between jobs, and that was a really weird time in my life because I've never struggled with getting or maintaining a job. So it's really weird, a really bad time in my life, and I had so much free time. So I sat down and I wrote Locked Away, and I let a couple of my friends and family members read it, and they were like, "You need to put this out there. This is amazing." And that's kind of what talked me into hitting that upload button. I didn't do it for me. I did it because they enjoyed it. They liked to read it. So I thought, well, other people might. It's a big world.
And how long was it written and finished before you decided to hit that upload button?
3 days.
So it didn't take long. You're like, you know what, I think I got something people like it. Let me just put it out there.
Yeah, yeah, it was 3 days, but that was nonstop. Like from the moment I woke up until the moment I went to bed, I was writing a story. Like took a little bit of breaks to eat or whatever, but it was chaos. But I needed something to distract my mind.
Absolutely. And that wasn't the only story that you got out. You have, I think, 5 total out now. Is that right?
Uh, 4 right now, about to be 5. But
And
that's if we count
what's on its way out? What's coming soon?
Lily. Yes, Lily is coming out soon.
What can you
I'm
tell
very
us about Lily? Is it finished? Do you already have it all done? Just have to get the layout, or what's going on with that?
It's basically finished. I'm just going back and revising every single chapter. I put a 5,000 word minimum restriction on each one of my chapters. There is 10 chapters. So that's exciting. This will be the longest story that I've, put out there. I'm really excited about that. But what it's about, and this is the question that all authors just hate. We get so tongue-tied when it's the what's it about. I put a little poll up on my author page, and I asked people, what's a story that you want to read? What's something that there's just not a lot of? Is there a certain monster that you want to have more? What's going on? Everybody said, well, the majority said serial killers, that there needs to be a female serial killer. So I was like, all right. And that's what inspired me to write this one. So Lily is a female serial killer who's been on the loose for 10 years, just wreaking havoc wherever she goes.
That's awesome, and I'm so glad to hear that it's a 50,000 word thing, because when a while ago, I think you saw we posted that for Lily's, or my stepdaughter Lily's homework, we had no books here at the moment. I was like, oh, this just came in the mail. I guess we're going to read this one, you know? So we started that, and right around that time, you were saying that you had something called Lily coming out, and she was like, oh,
Yeah.
I want to read that. It's Lily. So to know that it's super long and it's about some gory stuff, she'll be like, I don't know anymore.
Yeah, yeah. I'll have to do like a kid version. Like she just like didn't eat her vegetables or something. 10-year strike on veggies.
Yeah, and for some reason too, the day that you did your book for homework, you were the only one that picked that one for some reason. We got to talk to all these fifth graders and tell them they got to step their game up.
Right? Yeah. Come on, guys. That's okay.
So
My
you
kid doesn't
also
even.
you just had a new project come out, not a new project, but you have an audio book out now, your first audio book. What was that process like?
Oh my gosh, that was amazing. So for anyone who is interested in doing the whole audiobook route and you just don't know where to go or what to do with that, you can go to acx.com, even if you're self-published with Amazon, and your book kind of has to be on Amazon, but they'll explain the rules. You'll read into that and see what's going on there. But it's really simple. You just, put a little bit of your manuscript out there and people start auditioning for it. And that's really neat, like receiving these auditions of people that want to read or narrate your story. And you're the director, I guess. You just get to pick through them and decide which one fits your story the best.
And
And
then after that, how does it work after that? Do you kind of just split royalties with the people that do it? Do you end up paying the
it's
people?
it's up to you. It's whatever you're comfortable with. You might get a lot more narrators interested in your work if you're willing to pay them some money up front. So that's something to think about. It's a good investment. I went with royalty share because I don't have a whole lot of feedback from the Shaddon. I'm not really sure if it's a story that I wanted to put that much money into right away without knowing maybe I need to go back and revise this, 6 months later. Maybe there's something wrong with it. So I chose the royalty share option. So me and my narrator, we just split it 50-50. Pretty excited about that. We've almost hit 50 sales, so I'm pretty
Nice.
stoked. Yeah, that may not be that impressive, but to me, it's like super impressive.
I mean, a lot of authors are struggling, 1, 2, 3 copies of multiple books ever. So to hit 50 of one thing is good to me.
Yeah, I'm like, if this is where it maxes out, it was a good run. I loved it. It was exciting.
Yeah, that's how I felt. I put out that almost a year ago now, I think it's been, when I put out the Google study guide. I was just, in my office during the winter going through the Google Analytics test and working with different authors. And I was like, I should probably learn, what the KDP route's about. So I just did a quick little PDF of all the different answers of the test and put it out. And last I checked a month or two ago, it was like 60 or so copies of that sold without like anything doing. So like when you see that little couple dollars come in, you're like, oh, I remember that. That was from a book, or that was from people
Yes.
clicking a couple of links. Like sometimes that's more exciting than when like the real paycheck comes in.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there was 1 month where I was actually able to buy my groceries off of my royalties. I was like, oh, snap, it's not happening again. So we might get there.
Within that month, did you notice that you did anything different, or was it a release of something new, or anything that you could attribute the spike to?
Actually, yes, that month was me and you were really working on how to get my Instagram kind of, have more attention drawn to it. So I was just doing a lot of the ideas that you had for me. I had started my podcast, and that was the segment where I was reading, just bits and pieces out of my book, and it blew it up for sure. It was cool. But
I love
I
when
felt
those
on
like
that
just
podcast.
brainstorm ideas like actually hit. And
Yeah.
how many people I give those same ideas to that don't use them, that we get to
Oh
look at them and be
yeah.
like, haha, you should have listened.
Yeah, you should have listened. Seriously, I'm not trying to like rub salt in the wounds or anything, but those could have been your groceries. I'm just saying.
Colin can help with groceries.
That's right.
And what is the hardest part of you for being an author? Is it the writing? Is it the promoting? Is it just finding time for all of it? What's the hardest part of getting that outlet?
I think for me personally, it depends on the week. Like, because I work a full-time job as well, so sometimes I struggle with fitting the time, like, to write in it in my week. It gets really, really hard. But other weeks it's not that bad, and then I struggle with, man, I need to promote more. I'm losing my edge on promoting. I'm not really talking to a lot of people, so it's the week, but all the above.
Yeah, my wife loves all the content you put up. At least once a week, she's like, "Did you see what Ashley put up?" And I was like, "Oh, let me go see. What platform are we looking at?" And it's always something hilarious.
I try. I try. I haven't done a whole lot of like original memes in a while, but I've been working on Lily, doing a lot of beta reading, so just going to the good old Pinterest.
Absolutely. For a while there, I was killing it on Pinterest. I was doing like next to nothing, and every article I was throwing up was hitting left and right. And then like all of a sudden, nothing on Pinterest. And I was like, well, I'm not doing any Betty Homecrocker shit, so I guess I probably should either like switch up content or just leave Pinterest alone for a while.
Yeah, that's me. That's me to a T.
You're on every platform? I think just about all the main ones. What's your favorite platform as a user and as somebody that's looking to find new things?
I I love I love Instagram, I guess, is probably my favorite. I get more feedback from Instagram. I feel like I get more support from Instagram. Um, Facebook is a lot of fun because it's so instant, and there's so many people that's, sorry, I'm dying. There's so many people that's on Facebook and messages. That type of stuff is really cool, but Instagram's probably where I sell the most, I guess.
And I don't think you're using it. I don't know if I've recommended it to you before, but you're not using any type of scheduling apps, are you, for your posts for social media?
No, I've seen those and I haven't used any of them. They just kind of scare me a little bit.
One of the few things that I really promote that I don't get paid for, which is a shame because I've sold tons of these, but later.com is what I use for most of the Colin's conversations and Colin Can Help stuff. What I like about it is it does Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, and Twitter. And like I could have the Colin's conversation stuff and Colin Can Help, and they both have different media. But what's nice about it too is the LinkedIn bio feature of it. For people that are trying to sell books, I mean, the whole reason to use Instagram is to kind of get the attention there, but then also take it to your website or take it to Amazon or wherever you could actually make that purchase. And within the link in bio part of the later.com, every post that I link has the image there. You could click it and it'll take you right to whatever website instead of just doing one link in bio or a link tree that has like 4 or 5 things. It's a much more graphical. Um, it works great. You should look
That
into it.
sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look into
It's
that.
like I have one of the like the mid. I think there's like one tier above me. I think I pay like 15 to 20 bucks a month for it. But what's nice about it is like I'll sit down every Sunday and knock out a whole week of stuff. So like I
Right.
guarantee that there's, a post here, a post there, and then I could also schedule all the way out like a year in advance for things, which is
Yeah, that's
crazy.
awesome. I end up doing like post storms where I'm just like, man, these are so funny. I have to share all of these right now. And it's like 20 different posts. And then I'm dead, like silent for 2 days.
Right.
That's
Yeah,
awesome. I need to
that's
look
kind
into
of how
that
I
for
feel
sure.
like anytime I'm doing a bunch of video editing for the podcast or anything where like I get 4 or 5 clips ready and like I talk to a lot of musicians who it's amazing how they could keep stacks and stacks of music and just put it all in their vault and not release any. They're like, no, just waiting on that. As soon as I get a video ready, I'm like, let's show it to people. I spent an hour on this. I want everybody to see it.
Yes, me too. That's how I am.
That's where later.com's coming in nice is like I get that like, oh, I gotta post it. I feel like I just finished it, like I'm ready to put it out, but then I'll schedule it for a week or two in advance and then kind of schedule things around it. And they also have a hashtag suggester, so like you type in Ouija board and then it'll tell you all the different things that are common that go along with that one.
Oh, that's awesome. That's way simpler than me Googling what is a good hashtag for. That's what I do.
Did you? I just put on Colin Can Help a couple days ago a new strategy, little acronym thing for hashtags. Did you see that article?
No, I didn't. That one
Damn,
slipped my eyes.
let's pull that
Now I
up.
feel cheated.
She said, "Now I feel cheated."
I
Um,
cheated myself.
we've also got some really good articles on Colin Can Help by Ashley Greathouse for anybody that's looking for some stuff to read. You've contributed, I think, what, at least 4 or 5 things on here.
Yeah, I need to do some more, but I'm I'm lazy. I'm sorry.
You're lazy. You're just doing a full-time job and raising kids and dogs and writing books and doing all those other things.
That's right. Laziness.
So yeah, I just posted. It's called "The Guide to Successful Hashtags on IG." Let's go right here. I think I can show it to you right now. Share. Bam.
Oh wow. That's
So,
so
oh, and look
nifty.
right there. Related articles. More
Boom.
authors need to be like Ashley Greathouse. Who would have thought?
Who would have thunk it?
So the acronym is ACT Lefty. And the idea behind it is every hashtag you kind of want to go through this format. You want to make sure that you kind of look at the post and go through all the actions. Talk about the community, the different things like for you, authors of IG or writers of Instagram, kind of pick a couple of those. Go through the time. Is it the winter time? Is it daytime, nighttime? Is it ghost, Halloween, whatever? Location. Where's the content at? Those type of things. Like for me, I do a lot of Cleveland podcasts, hashtags. Environment, is it outside, indoor, like all those basic things. You're just trying to be as descriptive as possible. Talk about the talent. So, either use that as a tag or a hashtag. Tag me at
Yeah.
Colin Can Help, but also hashtag Colin Can Help. Kind of just including all of those, and then have your own hashtag kind of to wrap it all off. So, everyone should have hashtag Ashley Greathouse or whatever. But Act Lefty, it's pretty much proven that it works, and you get 30 hashtags with Instagram. So out of all those, I think it averages out to like 8 or 9 or a couple more here or there. But do
Oh,
that
that's
and
so
you'll be
cool.
good to go. How do I? Bam. Oh, doggy visit.
Always, he's got to steal the show.
Yeah, I lock mine out. There's a door closed with a chair in front of it. Otherwise, I'd have the same problem. Parker always has to have hands on him at all times. Like I could be typing on the keyboard, and next thing you know, there's a dog head underneath me.
That's him. And like my cats, they could care less. They're like, dude, just put food in the bowl and leave me alone.
Right? We just got a Furbo. Do you have a Furbo for your dog yet?
Wait, what's that? Is that little red toy?
No,
No.
this is like a super
Oh
high tech
yes,
thing.
yeah. You sent me the link to it where
Yeah, it
it
throws
throws the
treats, and
treat.
you could check in on the dogs and all sorts of stuff. And like they just barked right there, and my phone just went off. Barking alert.
Ah, that's awesome. That's
But
so cool.
it's
Mine
kind of
would
nice, like
never.
when you're not at home and it's just like bark, bark, bark. You're like, what's going on? So you could kind of check in and throw them some treats. Or every time a human walks by, it tells you that there's a human alert. There's all sorts of crazy things with it. Like I would never ever pay the $250 or whatever retail cost was, but we got it for like 120 or whatever it was on Amazon those couple of days. 100% that much.
I love it. On their lightning deals, is that what you spotted it on?
Yeah,
Love
I
the
think I just
lightning
woke
deals.
up early one day and kind of clicked at the right day. And same with we got the new Keurig Nespresso machine. It was like half off on Cyber Monday. Click.
Nice.
$200
That's awesome.
not worth it. $100 worth it all day.
Dude, coffee pots scream when they come into my house. They're like, no, we've heard about this lady. She'll
um,
work us to death.
so let's get back more into you for people to learn more about. You lived in Indiana your whole life, is that right?
Yes. Yes, I
What
have traveled. I've been to every state except for Hawaii and Alaska. So, I mean, I have been around, but I've always lived in Indiana.
what about Indiana keeps you living there? What do you like about it?
Um, I I love the sunsets. I guess. It's so beautiful. Everything is so open, so beautiful. And it's kind of where all my family is at. So that's a bonus, depending.
Depending on how they're acting that day, right?
Right? Yeah.
So with musicians, I usually do a kind of a rundown of their lyrics or kind of where they're from, kind of the history. So for you being an author, being from Indiana the whole time, we're going to see how well you can do on what Google tells us are the 15 best things to do in Indiana. So if they're shit, you could let us know. If you haven't been to them, we'll kind of go through them. But if there's any, being the expert of Indiana, tell us if any of these are good places to go to.
I got you. Let's do this.
Brown County State Park.
That's a must. You have to go there. It's beautiful.
What's good there? Is it hiking? Is just a picture of a tree that it shows me right here?
That's it. That tree specifically is the best tree in Indiana. No, I'm just kidding. Um, it's definitely the hiking. It's beautiful. They keep it really, really clean. Now, I haven't explored the entire park, but now years ago, they used to have, where you could go and get some horses and go on the horse trail through Brown County. So if that's still happening, that's a lot of fun. They have
Are there any ghosts in that park or any paranormal activity that you know about over there?
There is a story, but off the top of my head, I'm afraid I'm gonna get it mixed up with different folklore. But there is something that's supposed to be in the Brown County woods. I just don't remember what it is.
That kind of adds to the mist. What about talk about folklore and old things? What is Antique Alley?
Oh, I have no idea. Probably shouldn't go there.
It's in Richmond County. Um, Not too much about it. How about the Children's Museum of Indianapolis?
I used to go there. So Indianapolis is where I was born and raised, and I used to go to the Children's Museum like every weekend. They're always updating it and changing it. It's kind of like some of the different Ripley museums where they just bring in different things.
That's cool.
There is like the train station, I think, that always stays the same. So there's like a train that goes through the entire children's museum. It's amazing, like through walls. That was my favorite place. Like
That's
part of it,
cool.
I
We have
guess.
a place called the Great Lakes Science Center over here. And when I was a kid, I thought it was the best thing in the world. And then we
Right.
went with my stepdaughter like a year or two ago. So that's like a 20-year gap since the last time I'd been there. There wasn't a thing changed. And I was like, this would be cool if it wasn't the same thing it was 20 years ago. Half this stuff has been like disproven as not even science anymore, you know?
They're like, Pluto is still a planet.
And you mentioned there's a train going through the the Children's Museum. What about the Spirit of Jasper train? Do you know about that?
I don't.
Man, striking out on the Indiana stuff. This departs from historic Jasper Depot and allows you to ride in style through French Lick, Indiana. Anything good in French Lick? That just sounds weird.
Hey, they make really good wine.
Good wine. That's all you need.
Yep, I know about the wine.
What do you know about the Park County covered bridges?
The Park County?
Yeah, do you know about the Park County covered bridge?
No.
I can't say that. Park County covered bridges. That's a
No,
tough
I
one.
don't. Like, we've got covered bridges in my area. They're pretty historic and super creepy. But
Yeah,
I've not heard
everyone
of
that we
Park
have by
County.
us is sketchy as shit. Like they were
Yeah.
definitely made for like people walking and maybe a horse, and we're driving cars over it, just creak, creak, creak.
Oh yeah. Every time just praying. Ah.
I just floor it. I'm like, I don't want to be like, I don't mind driving on it. I just don't want to be on it any longer than I have to be.
I can get behind that. I'm the same way.
What about Turkey Run State Park? Anything creepy? Anything good? Anything? What's going on there?
Wow, where are you finding these places? Do they have
Um,
turkeys?
I don't know. Let's see.
I'm just picturing Turkey Run, like they have Danger Run in Louisville, so I'm just picturing Turkey Run version of that.
It says bring your camera and explore nature, much like that seen and experienced by the North Americans hundreds of years ago. But we're pulling all these things from the crazytourist.com, their article 15 best things in Indiana. You
Well,
have,
they could be, and I just haven't experienced them yet. So now I'm gonna have to go. I'm gonna have to go to Turkey Run. We got some Park County covered bridges I got to attend to.
I'm sure you could find something creepy or paranormal going on at least one of these places.
Oh yeah.
And the last couple that we got, where are their dunes? Indiana Dunes State Park. You have dunes in Indiana?
Yes. Yeah, we actually do. I do know about that.
Where is that at?
I don't know. I just know about it.
That's awesome.
Now, my grandmother was a history teacher, so anything that was historical, I was probably there at some point in my life. But yeah, no.
And then I think I've read somewhere too that your dad had a whole bunch of stuff, creative stuff that he was doing too, right?
Oh yeah, my dad's crazy
I
talented.
watched the pilot of that, the Cartoon Guy show. That
Yeah,
opening song is the funniest song I've
it
heard in
is.
ages. It is
It's
so
so
catchy and hilarious.
yeah, it's the guy who played the cartoon guy, he actually just passed away. So it's super sad, but they're not going to give up on the cartoon guy show. So they'll have something and pay him tribute.
That's cool. And the last part of the Indiana trivia, just because this place looks super cool, is what's going on at Holiday World and Splash and Safari. This place looks awesome.
That place is awesome, except I can't talk. Real awkward, everybody. In case Colin did not tell you, all of this is all natural. Um, you will die in the wave pool. I'm just letting you know. That's your warning. You will die in there. That is probably the scariest thing in Indiana is the wave pool in Holiday World.
That's awesome. So that's Indiana for us all. So we know we should probably check out the dunes and everything. And where is the most paranormal place that you've ever been? If it's Indiana or wherever, where was kind of the scariest place for the lady that writes scary stories?
Not in Indiana. The scariest place was I went to Gettysburg, and no, was it Gettysburg? Oh man, I'm so dumb right now. Anyway, I went to one of the big battlefields. That was literally the scariest place that I have ever been in my entire life. There were people all over the battlefield exploring, looking at all the different monuments. But even though you were surrounded by other people, you felt completely alone. Like you felt completely hollow inside. There were so many different people that were talking about the same emotions that they were getting from being there. It was a crazy. And I was about 13 years old when I went, so I really didn't fully understand, what exactly it was that I was standing on, like how symbolic it was. But looking back on it, I don't think that I would go back to there. It was just a lot of bad feelings, a lot of sadness.
See, I have like the exact opposite memory. When I went to Gettysburg, I remember being there for like 2 hours, driving through a bunch of stuff and getting like what do they call it? Like the Junior Ranger badge and being on my way.
Oh man, no, we hit every spot there. We were there for like 3 days. It was awesome, except for the
Excellent.
battlefield.
And on the travel note, in like a week and a half, I'm headed down to New Orleans, which is kind of like the creepy capital of the world, I think.
Yes,
Um, have you been?
I have been to New Orleans, but I did not get to experience any of the cool stuff that you're probably going to experience.
Do you believe in the voodoo, in the folklores of all the voodoo magic?
I want to so badly. Yes, like I want to be a believer. I want them to show me something that's going to just blow my mind.
Yeah, the last like couple of weeks, ever since we told Lily that we were going to go down to Louisiana and go through the bayou and everything, and I was like, if you don't start behaving, I'm going to take your hairbrush with me, and I'm going to make them have it into a doll. want to stab it every time you're bad. And just kind of using that as like the perfect leverage tool. Just show her that they make voodoo dolls and be like, hey, all I need is your hair.
Yeah, yeah. I want one, but I want like just massages. Like they can just keep it and just like rub the shoulder every once in a while.
That's funny. And I think you kind of touched on this on one of your podcast episodes, but I don't think too many of my listeners kind of know these type of things. So what can you tell us about Ouija boards?
I've had some weird experiences with Ouija boards. At like very recently at my Halloween party that we just did this year, this was weird.
What
So
happened?
I don't know if I believe in all of it or not. I try to come up with logical explanations for these things, but this blew my mind. So we put the little oh gosh, why am I so dumb today? I'm sorry. I've done a million things today and my brain's just mush at this point.
Remember, I told you that you could have rescheduled this because you had an important binge watching TV episodes that you had to get into.
Right, oh my God, I'm obsessed with that. I need to read the books, really. But I'm always like this, guys. This is just who I am. Deal with it. I'm sorry. Anyway, the little piece, that you put on the board and it talks to you, we put it down and then we like walked away. And we went back to the bar and we're drinking and then we go back in there and it's moved.
Moved a
Like,
little bit, a lot of bit, like all the way around?
A lot of it, like all the way across the board.
Like, and where was the dog when this happened? Was there any dog tails around?
No, there was no one that went inside the little witch hut that we built. It's actually pretty cool. I say this, but it looked legit. Like, it was amazing.
And what does that mean if it moves? That means that spirits are talking to it, or what's the significance of it moving?
You're supposed to have different people sit around and all of you have at least 2 fingers on the thing that I can't remember what it's called. Okay. I'm knowledgeable though, just believe me. And then the spirits use your energy to move it and answer your questions. But if you get a ghost that can't spell, well then I don't know what to tell you.
That's funny. I'm trying to find a quick what the thing's called, but I think if you don't know and the internet doesn't know, I don't think it really has a name. I think it's just the thingy.
There's people probably screaming into like the screen right now, like it has a name. Well, it's called this.
I guess they better get on the show and let us know, because
educate us. I can't remember what it's called. I keep wanting to say Monocle, but we all know it's not a monocle. We know that's not what it is.
This is where the Ouija board's triangular pointer comes in. We're getting close. What's the planchette? Is that the person?
Yes, that's what it's called. It's
there
the
we go.
Planchette. Yeah.
Just need a little bit of teamwork and a whole lot of Google just to figure everything out.
I'm sorry.
Google solves everything. If you can't figure it out, just go Google or YouTube. But it's the same company. You're just going to a different name with the same people.
Exactly. And they are super smart and lifesavers.
And one segment we always do on this is what are the top 3 apps or programs that get you through your day, whether it's professional, work, school, whatever apps that you're using the most?
I use, oh my gosh, so many different apps. I write on Word because I'm cheap and it's free for my phone. So I use that. And I use Canva because you got me addicted to that. So I'm probably on Canva like at least 7 times a day.
I think that kind of repaid itself, though. That's what I mentioned later. Canva's the other one that if they had a referral program, I'd be having grocery money, but they don't. But I told you about it, and then I forget how to describe it, but there's a filter that you use, one of their templates, like for quotes, and I was like, I saw you use it. I was like, I'm stealing that back. Yes. I told her how to get here. I haven't found that one yet. I loved it.
Yes, yeah. I actually just retired that one and started with a new one. on my Instagram. So that's pretty cool.
Have you started using any of the video features that they have in Canva now?
Yes. Oh my gosh, those are so cool. I actually spliced together a video for Bedlamite publishing using the Canva. Well, some bits and pieces from Canva. So it turned out, I thought, pretty good.
Yeah, it's amazing. Like everything I could do in Photoshop, I could do in Canva in like half the amount of time. Like obviously not like touching up images, but like as far as like putting together main pieces or anything like that, it's so much quicker. Or like how I do a lot of those things with like the text on top and then the thing in the middle. Almost all of that is Canva. Where I could do
Yeah.
the same thing in Adobe Premiere, but it takes me 20 minutes instead of 2.
Exactly. Yeah. And I use PixArt a lot as well. Like I'll put PixArt and Canva together and do a lot of different things with both of them graphic wise, and I love it.
Where are you going for stock photos? Are you getting all of those through Canva?
Yeah, I'm getting most of those from Canva. I have went to a few like is it Shutterstock? I think I've went to
Yeah,
them
you
for
usually got
some
to pay
things.
for all of those.
I've gotten a couple from there.
Check into Pixabay, Pixabay. I use that a lot. They've got a lot of good videos and animations and different things like that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I got to do a book preview thing for Lily, so I'm gonna need some other stock videos for sure.
And selling stock video, I've started to look into it. It's if you have a camera and you like to do like just random like filming things, you could actually make a decent amount of money with stock video.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna put my kid to work. Go out in the backyard, walk around for a little bit.
Hell yeah, send them to the woods and like come back with 2 hours full of trees and valleys.
Yes. Try to get a squirrel. They're on high demand.
And kids are usually pretty much the biggest critics of parents. Has he read any of your books? How's he feel?
No, we were actually joking around with him the other day and we're like, how many of your friends know that I'm an author? And he was like, one. Like, are you serious? You're not proud of me? He's like, he straight up came back to me and he was like, I don't know, Mom, how many books have you sold today? And I was like, oh, wow. Yeah, that's my kid.
That's when you're like, and how many carpets have you vacuumed today? We'll get to it.
Yes. Yes, Mr. Oh yeah. But he's read a couple of I try to be really, I don't know, friendly with people in the writing community, real supportive, so I try to help out as many as I can, even if they don't need my help, I guess. But he's pretty supportive of them. He's read a few of their books. So that's awesome. He's definitely a little bookworm, just nothing to do with what his mom does.
That's awesome. That's kind of a nice little segue in another one we usually do called name dropping. Normally, I have a little bit wider things of kind of just the interconnectivity of the podcast. So for you, I've got 2 names written down. Kind of tell us who they are, how you know them, and if there's any good stories about them or what they do. First one is, who is Glacia Kronk?
Glacia Kronk is a fellow author. She has wrote, well, she's kind of got a book series, not kind of, it's a legit thing. She has a she has a legit book series, The Clockmaker. I started reading hers and then I was in the middle of getting the Shaddon out, so that's still on my need to read list. It was good, it sucked me in, so that's definitely not why I put it down. You need to check her out for sure.
Yeah, she has a crazy story about not too many authors, I think, start becoming an author because you got thrown off of a horse.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And she's not much of a reader herself. Like she was that's what I find inspiring, to be able to put a book out that she did, the caliber of the book that she put out and not be a reader. It's just mind blowing.
Yes, I'm also not a huge reader, even though like I'm very interested in the book things. But in the little bit
Mhm.
of the time that I talked to her on the podcast, kind of just some people you talk to and you're like, oh, this fucking idiot. Some people you talk to, you're like, I am not smart enough to be in this conversation. She was one of those people where like she would kind of talk about some things and the way that it's just her cadence was and just the vernacular, you're like, oh, I need a dictionary to be in the rest of this conversation.
You will not need that with me, you guys. We're all following just fine. No,
But
she's awesome. Yeah.
she is awesome. And the second name on the list is who is G. Edward Smith?
He is another fellow author. He's into the creepy stories like myself, but he also has some other stories that I don't know if I would really classify as horror, but like they will mess up your head for sure. The last book I beta read for him, which it's all on the hush hush, so I can't give you much description on that. But it I don't know, the very end of the book when I got to the last page, I was like, no, but in a good way, in a very very good way.
Absolutely.
He's a master of words.
And Colin's Conversations, people are going to start seeing a lot more of his stuff coming soon. But I think the book you're talking about is coming out in the next month or two, though. I
I'm not
forget the name
sure.
of it. I'm privy enough. I'm in the know enough that I should know it, but I don't have the email open.
In case it's not, 'cause the last that me and him talked about it, that one he's actually going to submit off for a few other special surprises. So I don't know if that one is going to be released soon or if he's just going to sit on it for a couple years.
Gotcha. And then this isn't a person, but what can you tell us about? I always read this wrong. You mentioned it earlier. Bedlamite Publishing. Did I say that right?
You did, yes. That was the same thing that I said. I was like, how do you, am I pronouncing it right? Bedlamite?
Like I think I could say it once. There's no way I'm saying that 3 times in a row the right way.
No, no. That is an awesome project that another fellow author started, Sean Vick. He is just phenomenal. He wrote the book The State, and it is inspiring. Like when I read it, I started second guessing my own work. I was like, I don't know if I'm good enough to make these words sound good. No, but he's so supportive, and what he's got going on is amazing. It's ran by authors to help authors, to give you the appearance that you are under a signed publisher. There's a lot of readers that won't pick up a self-published book because you don't have a publishing agency backing you up. That's heartbreaking, but there are people out there that's like that. So there's a group of us that kind of edit and make sure that your work is the best that it can be for free. Send it back to you, help you format it, help you get it going for KDP, and then you get to use the Bedlamite Publishing name. So that's cool.
Yeah, there's a lot of similar things going on in a lot of different niches. Like a lot of different companies kind of making what they call the incognito page, kind of something else that's not quite related to their brand, but then they could funnel things through or share things through, or a lot of musicians too. It's funny how if a musician shares the same song that 2 fans share, the 2 fans make everybody listen, where the musician, they're like, oh, he's just trying to sell something.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
with the Bedlamite, how many? I think there's quite a few people working with you guys, isn't there a lot of not staff, I guess you call it, but volunteers? How many people are a part of that?
As far as I know right now, there's just 3 of us.
Gotcha.
But
I
there
don't know
could be
why.
a
I saw
lot of,
something on their website. It looked like maybe there's just a ton of authors that are underneath them. There's a lot of photos I saw somewhere.
there could be a lot of people that's down to help when they can, but not as far as like being a full
Gotcha.
time.
And you're also huge in Facebook groups. What can you give people the kind of tips of finding a good, welcoming, engaging Facebook group?
They can all, I don't care what anyone says, they can all be welcoming. It's just how thick is your skin, and how much can you weed through people that are going to be cruel to you, because there's going to be some of those comments that get made no matter what you post. and you just have to look past that. And a lot of the sarcastic people, I guess, I've developed a lot of friendships with, because I love sarcasm. I people call them what, trolls? I think that's the
Yeah.
they're on every group. They're on every group. Don't let that discourage you, because there's a lot of people on the same exact post that you just got trolled on that are actually going to help you out. And it's just, how are you going to listen to them? Are you going to take what they're saying as really harsh criticism that's just putting you down? Or are you going to listen that they're actually trying to help you grow as an author?
And that's a perfect thing right there. What helps an author grow, or what makes to be a good author in your opinion, as somebody that is an author and reads a lot of authors?
It kind of depends on the person themselves. Like, what can you handle? Me, if someone came at me and just completely, which I've had happen several times, but just completely criticized me and I don't see any light at the end of the tunnel, I don't take well from that. I'm one of those sandwich people. I'm like, all right, now here's the part where you tell me I'm nice and I do a good job. That's me, but that's how I am with a lot of things. I have a lot of pride in what I do. And if I don't feel that what I've done is being presented well or being taken in well, then I kind of get sad. I get sad about it. That's just me. So it's up to you. Like, what helps you? How do you learn? It's a job, really. So how do you train well at a job? You're gonna probably train the exact same way being an author or a musician or whatever it is that you're doing.
Yeah, I think that's another key point that you brought up there, is kind of a lot of people, authors specifically, think it's very hard to sell books and that nobody buys books and things like that. But they're also putting in less than an hour a week to try to market their books, sell books, make graphics. But yet those people that are putting in money on ads or putting in the time to really make their own stuff or to do the organic marketing, they're selling more books. Who would have thought?
Right, yeah. They're
It's,
treating this like a job? What?
yeah, it's the
That's
same
weird.
across the board, no matter what you do. I mean, marketing or any of it, the
Yeah,
more structure time that I put in really working on making, a flyer to promote a product, that product sells more than when I'm just trying to make content to make content. Or, if you actually have a goal, you actually get there a lot quicker. It's amazing how that works.
yeah, you have to be willing to put in the work, definitely. Like I said, it's just like a job.
Absolutely. What I want to try now is a quick, I guess we'll call it a game, but I'm going to say a title of your book, and I want you to give a quick, what they call the elevator speech. Kind of, if we got in an elevator together, how do you sell me on this book in 30 seconds or less?
Oh God, I don't. Okay, but let's do this.
I love it. Locked Away. What's it about? Why do I want to read it?
It is about a witch who is the most powerful being that has ever lived in the entire world, past, present, future. So, how would you handle a power like that?
And you thought you couldn't sell a book. Look at you
Just,
go.
just put it back on you.
What about the Shaddon?
The Shaddon is actually based on a real experience that I went through as a child. Fun fact, it was also an experience that my grandmother went through. Just found out after my uncle read the book, he experienced it as a child. It is a worldwide phenomenon that I gave a backstory to because it doesn't have one.
That's awesome. And stories told.
That has all three of my very first short stories. So if you want to be a supportive person,
If you want to be a supportive person, you need this book in your bookshelf.
yeah,
Who
or
doesn't
you're
have one
just
of these to pull up on screen?
yeah, I mean they're just pretty to look at. If you don't want to read it, that's fine. $99, buy it.
And kind of a quick kind of we'll get right back to the couple other ones. But you also do all your cover designs, don't you? Or do you outsource that now?
No, I do not outsource anything unless you are the only person that I outsource things to. We'll put it that way. But
Again, the
no,
best
all my,
testimonial there is. I
yeah,
hire nobody except sometimes I gotta call him.
yeah, I gotta call Colin. He helps me out a lot. But no, I do all of my cover work myself.
I always find it hilarious the you know, you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but if you didn't judge a book by a cover, you would never pick up a book.
I literally judge everything off of the first 30 seconds of looking at it. And
Yeah,
I'm not afraid to admit that.
I think it was the Alicia Caldwell Henderson episode that I did where I came up with this theory where everybody spends so much time on the front and the back of the book, but why somebody on the spine of a book just doesn't do it in a really bright color and is just like, hey, motherfucker, read me. Like,
Yeah.
if you were just, you know, perusing down the aisle of a library and you saw that, you're like, wait a minute. Well, what is this about? It could have nothing to do with anything vulgar or anything, but just one of like some type of attention capture like that, I think would just be brilliant.
And just tacos. Like the book has nothing to do with tacos.
Absolutely. Just kind of just that, like, because especially if you're walking through a finance section and you just see tacos, what is this about? Kind of, you have to
Yeah,
look at
I need to save money for tacos.
it. Get more stock dividends so you could buy tacos. Let's see, what else do we have here? We just did stories told. I think the only other one is what's the elevator speech for perfect life?
um, there's nothing supernatural in this. A lot of people ask me, do you have a book that has nothing supernatural based around it? Here's your book. I've got it for you. It's about a mom who has her whole entire family murdered, but then feels bad about it. Why?
I feel like that should be the whenever your kid's not just behaving, kind of like you're reading this one again. Just know what
Yeah,
could happen.
and it's not even a spoiler.
And you just picked up your coffee mug. You almost always have a coffee mug within reach. What makes for a good cup of coffee?
Um, as long as it is not decaf, then it is a delicious cup of coffee. Now,
And how do you take your coffee? Are we drinking black coffee? Are we adding stuff to it?
I start off early in the morning by putting a lot of creamer in it to where it is very blonde because I love myself. And then as the day progresses, I slowly just stop loving myself and don't care about the extra 2 steps to the fridge to get the creamer out. And I just drink it black. That's where
That's
I'm at
awesome.
right now.
I think it had to have been your page, or at least at some point, where it was one of those, I like my coffee darker than my soul, or one of those.
Mhm.
Pretty much anytime there's a good sadistic coffee meme, it came from the Told by Ashley or one of your accounts.
I love coffee just in general.
Have
If
you always
I
loved coffee, or has that kind of just been as you get older, you kind of just you need that extra boost? How long's your coffee affair been going?
It's been like when I was like 9 years old, my mom let me have a cup of coffee and I felt like I was the shit. Like I was just the coolest kid in the world. Like this was my wine to me. It was the forbidden drink. And I've just been drinking it ever since. Not as much as I do now as an adult. After I had my son is when I was like, nothing but coffee from this point out. That's the only way I'm gonna live.
Absolutely. And do you go for iced coffee too, or is it always hot black coffee?
No, I go for iced coffee. I really like those monster coffees and the
Hmm.
Starbucks coffees in the can. See, I'm just really easy to please. Like easy access. Okay, coffee done.
Right. And you have a pretty basic cup there, but what makes for the perfect coffee cup or coffee uh, device? Is it a tumbler? Is it a ceramic mug? What makes for the best instrument to get your coffee?
As long as it's not broke to where your coffee is going to pour out, then it is a good thing for coffee. Now, I like coffee cups, I guess. I like the handle and the fact that you can get them to where they're just fun to read.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love the weird coffee mugs. Those are my favorite.
Well, that gives you like 18,000 more reasons to go ahead and support your episode. Because I still have, since they haven't come pick them up yet, I still have the 2019 Podcast Awards.
Do you really?
Yeah. So
Those
this
are
year we
nice.
did most YouTube video views. So whoever had the most views on one of their clips, that one got shipped off to New York for Twisted Willow. They had a thing about welding that did real well. And we did the other one over there is the most audio streams. And then we have the MVPG, which should be your mission. It's a coffee cup / trophy.
That's amazing.
But then on the back we have, there's the camera. He had a nice little slogan on his called "Fuck shit up politely."
Yes.
So it made it to the mug. So yeah, we're still waiting to get both Cabin and Scuff in the same room at the same time to do a little award ceremony. But I'm going to continue it for next year and kind of add 1 or 2 categories. But why not make a trophy a functional thing? Like instead of like a trophy cup, or I was thinking kind of doing like a 3D printed rubber type thing. But then I was like, it's going to cost me almost the same amount to make something useless. You could have coffee every day and look at your award like, yeah, I won.
Oh yeah. Oh
It's
yeah.
an
For all you,
MVPG instead of the MVP, most valuable podcast guest. Killing them.
that's so cool. For all you people that don't drink coffee, just put pins in it. All right, it's still useful.
Absolutely. And same too, what better conversation starter than a Collins Conversations Award? Let's have a conversation over coffee with my award.
Oh yeah. Every single day at work I would be like, oh yeah, Carol.
Yeah, I might suck at my job, but I won an award.
Yeah, did you get one of those? No.
Yeah, towards the end, I was like overly campaigning for the Cabin in the Woods episode because like I really didn't want because there's I think 5 or 6 kind of like monologues I call them, of just me reading out stuff or just me talking, and for some reason those did better than a couple like just about all the like other ones. So I was like, I'm not going to give myself an award. It's got to be for a guest. So there's like 2. It was like a neck and neck race. I kept hitting refresh on my analytics like every like 2 days. I'm like, oh, let's see. Cabin's pretty close. Oh, look, Chevy Gang's pretty close. Kind of like a back and forth. And I was like, oh, this is fun. It's like a game.
Yeah, I would like pit them against each other. I'd be like, yo, dude.
Well, that's the funny thing is the Cabin episode was the last one of the year that I put out, and he ended up doing the most views over everybody all year.
Dang.
So I was like, oh,
awesome.
and that's why too. I was like, I got to push for him a little bit more. He came out like 2 weeks ago, and he's already done 50 more than everybody else.
Oh gosh, killing it.
Killing it.
Love it.
But let's wrap it up a little bit. Speaking of podcasts, you started a podcast. I think really shortly after I told you should start a podcast, and
I did.
You got kind of at least 2 different segments that you run on it. Tell us about your podcast and what people could expect if they go check it out.
It is a sloppy mess, but you should listen to it because it's entertaining.
It is entertaining. I could totally vouch for the entertaining of it.
Yeah, everything about me is just a mess. Okay. I talk about the weird encounters. That's what it's called, encounters with darkness. And I talk about all the creepy things that have happened to me. And there's more stuff that's going to come in 2020. I'm going to have a lot more special guests, even if they're not on the podcast themselves. I'll be telling their story. So just to get some more content, I feel like. But yeah, I try to logically explain everything too. There's that. I'm not telling you that I got harassed by ghosts as a child, but I did.
That's awesome. I think that's the hardest part right there about podcasting is like if you take that drink and it doesn't go down right, you're like, I really got a cough, but she's saying something really good. I have to figure out how to not cough. I'm looking like that was the most amazing thing ever. Like I'm almost in tears from like the holding the cough back. And you're like, oh, I love the podcast. The podcast is amazing.
Oh man, that's me all the time. Like I almost drowned earlier. Remember that? I was like, oh wait, I'm dying.
Absolutely. That's professionalism right there. We're knocking it out the park. We're willing to drown on beverages to make this episode halfway decent. That's what I'm talking about.
It's what you got to do.
And you mentioned that you're going to start bringing in more guests and things like that. Are you going for like the crazy hair guy on the Alien show, or are you just going for people you know? What type of guests are you looking for your show?
I'm looking for anybody, honestly, that, you know, if you have like a really crazy story that you just want to share, want to talk about, want to find out if you're not alone in it, you know, no judging. We're all friends here, safe space. But yeah, just anybody. I want to try to go and like just meet some people to catch them off guard. Right. I will say one thing, just a little sneak peek. I am going to a nursing home, and there is a lot of people in there that do not have anyone to talk to. No one comes to visit them, but they have seen some stuff. So we're going to find out from them what they have seen.
Sounds like a plan there. Um, I had really good luck the last like month. I was doing $5 a day Instagram ads for like
Yeah.
just looking for podcast guests. Worked phenomenal. Like I'm running like $20 campaigns for a couple other companies against my $5 campaign. My $5 campaign was killing them. So kind of like a quick little video of you, I think, kind of just saying, hey, you know, encounters with darkness. Have you seen weird stuff? Kind of just a couple quick questions like that and put those out there. I think you'd get a lot of creepy people in your inbox. And you like
Oh
creepy
yeah.
people in your inbox. So that works out great.
Yeah, there's so many people in my inbox. It's crazy.
And what do you go to haunted houses? I think I saw you actually go to like haunted houses, but not like the scare, like what am I trying to say? Like the entertainment haunted houses. Do you go to the people jumping out at you, or do you only like abandoned, hope there's really creepy houses?
No, I do both. I love going to an actual like paying money to be afraid haunted house. My favorite is, and this is so bad because I have an uncle that runs his own haunted house, but my favorite is Fear Fair, which is in Seymour, Indiana. It is awesome. And they don't just do like Halloween haunted house, they do a Christmas haunted house where Krampus is going to come and maybe eat your face off. You don't know. It's
That's
scary.
awesome. And the other top three list we'll do for you is what are the top three scary movies of all time?
Oh gosh. Um, right off the top, I'm gonna have to say 13 Ghosts was really creepy for me growing up. I was a teenager when it came out, but still it was, I wanted to know so much more about each one of those ghosts. And then when it was nighttime, I was like, I don't want to know any more about them. I can't sleep. Pet Cemetery really freaked me out when I was little. Like the original Pet Cemetery, obviously. That scared the crap out of me. But my all-time scariest movie that I have not rewatched as an adult is Candyman.
Candyman is number one.
I hate it. I love it, but I hate it.
I think the number one for me was when I don't know how old I was, and I've spent so little time at my grandparents' house, and maybe this is why, but they had me watch Alfred Hitchcock's The Birds when I was like way too young to watch The Birds.
Yes.
And like ever since, like to this day, like 20 years later, like if I see enough crows like sitting across like a telephone wire, I'm like, we're not gonna hang out here. Like I like my eyeballs. I don't really want to do it.
Yeah. Yeah, no. No. I remember The Birds. Oh yeah, and then my mom went and bought like a blue and gold macaw and brought it in her house. And I was like, what are you doing? It's
I think a
you.
lot of those old horror movies, like I mean, we have amazing CGI and amazing, you know, special effects, makeup and stuff now, but like some of those old school, like just it was so bad, it was like that
Yeah.
might actually be what it's like, opposed to like blood going 8,000 feet an hour, heads flowing 100 yards away.
Yeah, they're bad. I have not rewatched Candyman, and it probably would not live up to today's standards. But the Rottweiler scene, if anyone knows what I'm talking about, ugh, do
That's
it.
awesome. And I think you've seen enough of the things that you might have known this is coming, but every interview ends with what I call the digital soapbox, where you get up to 1 minute to look dead in the camera and end the interview however you want to do it. So you get whoever's listening, whoever's watching, and you get to make them leave with however you want, whether it's sales, motivation, kind of just gibberish, mix of all of them, whatever you want to do, but you get 1 minute of whatever you want to do.
Right, starting now?
Whenever you're ready.
Okay. So, yeah, if you want to be my friend, you should hit me up and buy my books, and then we'll become best friends. It's that simple.
Where can they find your books?
You can find them on Amazon, or you can find them. Colin has all kinds of cool links to them too, don't you? Do you still have those links?
I always got every sorts of links, and we can sell all the Ashley stuff.
Yeah, you should always click on Colin's links first. And if you can't find Colin's links, then just go to Amazon yourself and type in Ashley Greathouse, and all of them pop up that easy peasy. I think I'm the only Ashley Greathouse. If I'm not, then you know what would happen. There can only be one.